On Wednesday, legislative leadership from both parties met with members of the Idaho Press Club to discuss the session and its progress, or lack thereof. As of Thursday, Governor Brad Little has signed just 20 bills, far fewer than where the legislature usually is at this point in the session. But House Speaker Mike Moyle said that lawmakers are making progress.
You see stuff that gets stalled as we go along, and everybody thinks nothing's going to happen. There's a lot happening. You're just not seeing it in the public. You'll see in the next week things. You've been here. You see how it gels. Things happen fast. You'll see the higher ed tomorrow. You'll see what K-12 on Friday. A lot of money is going to get spent in the next 2 days. And once that happens, you'll see things start moving.
One bill that's getting scrutiny from lawmakers, the Idaho Launch Workforce Development Program proposed by Governor Little. That bill appeared Tuesday before the Senate Commerce and Human Resources Committee, sparking passionate disagreements about the proper role of government and who the bill would actually benefit.
Now, Doug Sayer is a big business leader in Eastern Idaho. He leads Premier Technologies. Premier Technologies donated $2,500 to the Brad Little campaign and over $25,000 just this January to Friends of Brad Little.
Mr. Chairman, I object.
That's good. Thank you, Mr. Nate, for the answer. That's good.
Okay. There are many others on the Workforce Development Council making such donations to Brad
Officer,
Little.
would you help us? I need you to sit down.
Oh, am I done?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's make no mistake about what this bill is about.
I don't believe it's a socialist program, and I don't think we're picking losers and winners. I think we're picking all winners. And I think by going to the demand jobs, it's good. That may change. Every couple of years, the demand jobs may change. As we've watched them change over our lifetimes, the demand jobs have changed a lot.
The Commerce Committee ultimately sent the bill for amendments, and the Senate State Affairs Committee introduced a companion bill on Wednesday morning that would limit what the $8,500 launch grants would pay for. The Senate President Pro Tem Chuck Winder said he hopes to gather more support for the program after it passed the House by just a single vote last month.
They typically don't like us amending their bills, even though we have the right to do that. The trailer bill is an effort to have a plan B, I guess is the best way to put it. If we can't come to some agreement, then the trailer bill would be advanced, but I'm hopeful and optimistic that working with House leadership that we can come to agreement on some changes to 24. And I think the trailer bill kind of outlines most of the concerns that were voiced by a majority of the Senate members.
I don't have a problem with Senate amending House bills. We do the same. That's how the process works. I do have more concerns with the trailer bill. We've been in this place before where we've done trailer bills and they don't make it.
Also Wednesday, Idaho child care providers and parents rallied at the Capitol building to protest the Joint Budget Committee's decision in February to approve some health and welfare budgets without funding for child care grants that had been provided to the state from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act.
This goes beyond just pushing key needs out to the very end of session. This one, it was affirmatively tanked. They said they just turned down $80 million of badly needed child care assistance funds. And this is an inflection point for every other industry. Every industry in the state counts on child care access, whether you're in manufacturing or whether you're in food services or whatever you're in, your workers need child care. And these funds are very badly needed. I think it can still be fixed, but it's going to be an uphill battle.
Speaker Moyle said the issue hasn't been on his radar, though he said it could be addressed by the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee before the end of the session. Our friends at the Idaho Capital Sun have much more on the debate. Another topic that came up with leadership was a bill that would change a section of code banning armed private militias from parading in public. The bill sparked debate over the message it sends about the state's reputation.
There are still criminal penalties for the abuse of parading or intimidating or display of weapons. So that was the reason the Guard really brought it. It really wasn't necessary in their opinion. It wasn't being enforced. So I think, that was kind of the basis for it. As it played out, the message that some made out of it was, and it's always interesting, the opposition will accuse us of sending messages and they're the ones actually speaking the message.
In Senator Foreman's debate on the Senate floor, if you heard him, he used the example of Black Lives Matter associating in Coeur d'Alene 2 summers ago and armed folks coming out to guard stores. I didn't confront that in debate, but I probably should have. Because I think it links to what Senator Rupke was really talking about in his debate, right? We have a history in our state of the Aryan nation being solidly grounded here, and that our state's reputation across the globe has been associated with that. And to me, to repeal this law, as Senator Foreman has said in my committee before, our laws are a communication of our values. And by passing that law, it sends a message about values. And I do think it puts the welcome mat out for certain groups. And I think it opens the door for armed folks to parade as a verb, not in a public parade, out front of judges' homes, commissioners' homes, elected officials' homes, hospitals, and school boards.
Reporters also asked leadership about property tax progress. And on Thursday, Representative Jason Monks proposed a bill that would offer up about $300 million in property tax relief per year by giving tax credits to homeowners as well as direct payments to school districts to cover bond and levy payments. The proposal is a combination of past bills by the House and Senate. All things said and done, Republican leaders are optimistic the session can finish in 2 weeks. Democrats aren't so sure. Real quick, thumbs up or thumbs down. March 24th, really?
Heck yeah. Come on, positive thinking.
If JFAC finishes setting budgets on Friday.
Thumbs down.
No, if they can set the budgets by Friday, which that's their goal and their deadline, and they tell me every day they can do it, then we can be done in 2 weeks.